Good evening, televiewers. Welcome to another Tuesday's edition of Prime R. Tuesday's editions are dedicated to discussing issues touching on relationships and marriage. This evening, we're going to be looking at the reasons pushing women in relationships and marriages out of the home. We're talking about infidelity. What could cause a woman who is married to a man to be seeking a love affair out of their home, and what would also cause a young girl who is in a courtship with another guy to be wanting to taste what belongs to others. We're going to be looking at the reasons pushing our sisters and mothers out of their respective homes, and possibly looking at how we can identify a lady who is cheating on a husband or a fiancé. We are going to be discussing this with our regular panelists who are in the house with me already. Apostle Ambe Valentine is our permanent consultant. He is also the president of the Cameroon Pentecostal Movement. Good evening, Apostle, and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, my co-panelists. Good evening, Cameroonians, and welcome to today's edition of this wonderful program. We are encouraged with the feedback coming from you guys who have been following us for a very long time now, and we actually appreciate you for encouraging us doing this great work. Thank you.
We also were in the company of Reverend Kenneth, who is an expert in the domain and a key man of God out here in the city of Douala, the nation's economic capital. Good evening, Reverend. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leo. Good evening, Apostle Ambe. Good evening, Reverend. Good evening to our viewers. Good evening to the technical team that is on board tonight. We are so glad to be here, and we believe that God is going to grant us wisdom again to share what we can to be able to edify and bless people as far as relationships and marriages are concerned. So stay tuned.
We also are going to be discussing with Reverend Mrs. Anyere Akwi, who is an expert in the domain of counseling on relationship and marriage. She's participating on Prime R for the very first time, I'm sure. Welcome.
Thank you very much, dear panelists. I'm happy to be here. I am sorry I could not make it the other times, and hopefully I will continue to make it from hence. I appreciate you for inviting me, and I appreciate the other panelists for coming despite the weather and the odds, and my greetings to the technical crew. We are hoping that the solutions we'll bring about will help somebody out there.
I know many of you are already set with their pens and papers, especially couples who would want to be blessed and be delivered from their marital issues this evening. And I pray by the grace of God and wisdom that is given to the panelists tonight, they are going to meet you at the point of your respective needs in the name of Jesus. Apostle Ambe Valentine Ngwa, cheating, because that's what we are talking for women, used to be a taboo, strange. Yeah, is it still the case today?
Mr. Leo, the fact that something has been normalized does not deny the fact that it's still an abomination.
Okay.
We have normalized cheating, I beg your pardon, for women. It doesn't mean that it is not an abomination. The African society we belong to condemns cheating, especially from the angle of the woman, in all severity. And a number of factors, which I think none is justifiable for a woman to cheat, are the reasons why we are here tonight, and we are going to be pointing out those factors. And I think most people who are watching this program today may think we are biased, because at one point we have discussed issues here talking why men cheat, and sometimes it looks like the men are justified for cheating and we do not tolerate women because of the cultural background we are coming from. There are some things, and from even a biblical point of view, that a man can do and a woman does, it becomes a crime. For instance, if a man gets married to two wives, is a name for the marriage is called polygamy. And a woman has more than one man, she's called a prostitute. One is an insult, and other is a type of marriage. So you look at the cultural background, the crime committed by both persons, one is heinous from the angle of one person, another one seems to be normal from the angle of another person. So let us lay this foundation that today we are not being biased, but we are trying to talk from a perspective based on the culture we are coming from, the societal norms that governs our people. So I think the idea of a woman going out to seek love in the hands of another man despite being married is a taboo, first, an abomination according to the African culture, is an insult even from a biblical point of view, and societally speaking it's also a serious taboo. When people hear about it, it's really an abomination. As a matter of fact, children may earn respect if their father has 2 wives, but they will earn disgrace if their mother is going out with 2 men. And the impact of the woman's infidelity affects not just her, it affects the children, and it goes as far as damage the image of the entire family. It may even affect her siblings for saying that a member of your family comes from that lineage where women cannot stay with a single individual. In a nutshell, a woman with more than one person is a prostitute, even if she is married, because that is the definition of somebody, or like a woman who goes out with more than one man.
A recent survey that was carried out showed that 20% for men are more likely to cheat against 13% of women who are cheating, according to the survey. But the survey also shows that women aged 18 to 29 cheat more than men within that age range. Can we understand why? There is so much pressure on them.
Yes, Mr. Leo.
And then the men at that time also 18 to they are broken. Not easy to hear.
Of course. Should I respond or okay. The truth is, you see, there is an age limit, an interval in your life that you have the energy to sex. As a matter of fact, as your age is increasing, your desire is dying. The energy is no longer there. So within the age range you just mentioned, that's where the energy is there. That's when the passion is there. That's when that curiosity is there. People want to test almost everything around them. So they become very confused, because sometimes it's like, okay, I'm about to hold this one, this is the best, and then you see something else better than this one, you want to catch it. That desire, you want to explore. Somebody becomes very adventurous within that age limit.
Okay. Apostle Ambe says that it is a taboo, Reverend Ken, but what is your observation at how women live either in relationships or in marriage today? Is the trend changing from what we observed with our mothers to what we have today?
Tell you, even if you bring blind Bartimaeus to our society today, he will tell you that's what is happening, because the vibrations have occupied the airspace and everything. In fact, everywhere is very serious. And without being specific to the gender, that is the women who cheat, this is a clear representation of the level to which the morality of today's society is degrading. Yes, because I remember when we were growing, where I come from, there is a practice that when a woman cheats on her husband, they will bring. They used to. This is what they used to do. If they discover that she has cheated with one person, they will bring a pot to the courtyard, and then people will gather. As she is confessing, they're dropping some herbs. Things is boiling. As she is confessing, if she finishes confessing, now the boiling is going to stop. It's going to rest. But as long as she has not finished confessing, the thing will be boiling and coming out. I'm not sure it still happens. I'm not sure if they do it, they will even still work. Because as I've said, the society has degraded to a level where what was abnormal yesterday is becoming a normality today. What was an abomination yesterday, today has become a lifestyle. As we have said, the Apostle has said something very important, that there are women, in fact, there are men who will cheat and it looks like, it should be forgiven with ease. We will give some reasons why women cheat today, but they do not constitute a justification in any way.
No justification.
We are saying that these are the reasons, but when it is done, it is called evil, and the repercussions remain catastrophic as they should be, or as they are, despite the fact that society is making it a normality today. So this aspect of women getting into it and overtaking men. Like Mr. Liu has given some statistics here. Me, I also saw something at the University of Indiana. What they, for them, they say the line between the cheating men and cheating women now has become very, very thin. They saw that 23% of the survey that was on 23% of the men cheat, and then 19% of the women. So it becomes a very serious issue, because yesterday men were repeated for cheating, but the way the women are coming, I think in the next 5 years women are going to be more celebrated in cheating than men. Now, I think this can be attributed to the fact that over time women are getting more empowered. They're getting their own money, they're having their voice, there's a degree of independence and autonomy that is being built in women, which, like, okay, if I cheat and if the relationship does not work, no, that vulnerability that the female gender had towards the man is no longer there. The vulnerability and dependence is no longer there. That's why today it's very easy for a woman to want that the husband should dance to her tune in terms of where they live, of which the law is clear. Domicile is determined by the man. But the kind of, you know, autonomy and everything has brought the woman to the point where the woman thinks she can also, in fact, begin to do what the men were doing yesterday and, you know, go scot-free. And the society has also endorsed it to a very good extent, because when a man is crying foul about it, the feedback will be, are you the first person? Or you look at a case where a lady has done it, and people want to come across as if it's a reproach. It's like, I'm not the first woman that has done it, and so on. So the levity with which we take the aspect of women cheating today in relationships is becoming a very serious call for concern, that if care is not taken, we are going to be heading on for a crash that will be irreparable.
Okay, let's listen to the lone lady on the platform today, Reverend Mrs. Anyere Akwi. What is the situation with, I don't know whether you are in a parish, you are in a congregation, or you're in a quarter? What is the observation you have of the way women carry themselves today vis-a-vis either their fiancés or their husbands? Is it blackmail that these guys are doing here, saying that women are threatening to overtake men in this business of cheating?
I think women are actually overtaking men.
Wow.
And the big question here that we should pop is, are these women cheating alone? Of course, they cheat with men. So the ratio can be the same because they are cheating with men. And if you observe, like when you are counseling couples who come, when you get to that sensitive part about sex and how they should relate, you always discover that even before you want to bless the marriage, they have gone very far into the sex, and the young woman or lady will have the infantry or an audacity to tell you that maybe she still has a little fear, because that at that point, without which she has not even gotten married, she is already saying that she doesn't have satisfaction. But I'm like, you are yet to be blessed. You are yet to have your nuptial blessings, and you don't have satisfaction. And you discover that this kind of example is an abomination, because you begin to imagine how you will bless that kind of a marriage. And they will put on white veil, and they will still do the bridal trail and come in front of the church and make solemn vows, whereas that already stained the marital bed, if I can put it like that. Another observation with young people today and some Christians is that those who really pray in tongues and they are so holy, if you want to go behind and see what they are doing behind, I'm not like judging, we shouldn't judge. If you go behind and see what they are doing, you may, at some point, you may even be discouraged as a pastor, as a man of God, because you ask yourself, what are you teaching? What are you impacting on these Christians when what you say is the exact opposite of what they will go back and do? And they have this popular slang that we have in preaching, who well. Now, pastor, where one can't teach, we say over sabi. So at the end of the day, the moral fabrics has gone into ruins, and we just really need to rely on God, because it is really not easy. Papa, it's not easy. At times you even discover that a woman justifies that she's not being loved, she's not being catered for, they don't respect her. She gives that as a justification to cheat without fear or favor, but with fervor. They come back to their homes without any sense of guilt. They just feel that it is the normal. Like Papa Ken said, it is very normal to do what they are doing. And some feel that because they are now bread earners, their husbands maybe lost their jobs along the line, they feel that they should do what they are doing as part of winning the bread for the house, which is really also an abomination. So many situations and examples are around us that you can even have a slip of a tongue to name somebody, because you see it's really not justified, but people have really gone what the Americans call AWOL. They have just gone out of proportion and blow the cheating out of proportion, because if you, like, in 10 cases who come for counseling, about 6 of those cases, when you really ask what is the problem, nobody is willing to open his or her mouth. What is it? Ask Papa. What is it? Ask Mama. Because it is about that aspect. And it comes to a point where some women decide to even retaliate because their men have been doing it. Like I said, I'm saying 2 wrongs cannot make a right, and there should be no justification for cheating whatsoever.
Okay, there are no justifications for cheating, but it's also alarming when it is Reverend herself who is saying that the situation is not too good. I thought she was going to say you guys are biased in your analysis, but she raised the point that you may be shocked at some of the tongue-speaking sisters. Many persons rush to church to say, okay, I hope that year I'll have a better assurance of a lady, because she's spirit-filled. She's going to fear to anger the Holy Spirit that is burning in her, and would not want to go out there to cheat on me. That is the guy who rushes to church. Is the situation better in our churches?
Have you ever heard of the famous adage that when you go through university, allow university to go through you?
I don't understand.
Going to the university or allow university to go through you.
Okay.
It's like the same. Going to church and allowing church to go through you. There are many who have gone to church, but church has not gone through them. So sometimes you may think somebody is sitting in the congregation and is very spiritual. The person is in church. Church is not in the person. The misconception we have is that almost everybody that goes to church is holy, is spirit-filled, is anointed, and is consecrated. It's an error. It's the same thing. You may choose to go to church and never change. Change is a decision. It is not something you wish. They can preach God's word and you choose not to accept it, but you're in a congregation. Many people go to church for many reasons. Some go there because they were sick and they need healing. They did not go there to grow. Others went there to look for their husbands. Others went to look for their wives. There are people who have come to church because they followed a lady to church. There are also who have come to church because they followed a man to church. Their interest was to come and get married, not to come and serve God. Some came because they were sick. Some came because they had difficulties. But if you come to church, your primary objective is to serve God. And if you want to serve God, that's when the church will go through you, not you just going to church. And so somebody can be in church. Don't conclude a person is sanctified or holy. There are demons in church. In Job chapter 1, the Bible says when the sons of God gather, the devil was also there. So Satan attends church. Sisters are in church who are Satan. Brothers are in church who are also satanic. So they can sit in the church. The notion that somebody is from a congregation or speaking in tongues is a sanctified person is an error of monumental proportion. There are persons who don't go to church, but they are built up from a home that has instilled values in them. They have character, they have respect. You can get a good wife from a home that was not brought up in church. We are not condemning the idea of church, but we are trying to give you the understanding that not everyone you find in a congregation is an angel. People take church sometimes to cover their head. There are others who tie their head with their ears covered and all their nostrils covered, and you think that covering is a kind of sanctification. They remove those things and do terrible things in the morning. And there are other persons who also, you are blessing their wedding, there's a child under that wedding gown. After that wedding, after 6 months, the woman gives birth, and you wonder when she when she got married and what they took in. So that is the challenges, just that kind of challenge we have in church. So don't assume that anyone that comes in church, as I've said, it is you that's getting married to somebody. Do a critical survey, a critical analysis of the individual, whether they are in church or out of church. Study the person in question. You are the one that's going to live with that person tomorrow. Don't just assume that because he's a Muslim, he's a Christian, he's a Buddhist, he speaks in tongues, he's holy. No, it's a very big lie. I think this issue of us studying the individuals in question is very important. Last week we had a program, somebody called me and said he had been with his fiancée for a very long time, and then suddenly the fiancée came visiting, and when the fiancée was leaving his house, the fiancée received a call and refused to pick the call. It was a strange number. Refused to pick the call. He insisted, said, how? At least pick the call and tell the person that you are not interested to discuss. The girl said she will not pick the call. He forced the girl. When the girl picked the call, the guy started, he was the one that picked the call. The guy started shouting immediately, you are joking with me, you are playing with my heart, you are playing with my emotions. This is supposed to be the man who is to get married to this lady, picking the lady's call from another person. I mean, from every ramification, the guy told me that that girl, apart from that bad attitude, she's perfect and almost 100% perfect in every other area. That he is confused, doesn't know what to do. I told him that there are some errors that are only 10%, but they are strong enough to kill 90% good. I said, when a woman starts this kind of foundation with you, something is wrong somewhere. It could be that she's coming from a background that is fighting her with something beyond her capacity, because we sometimes we use the word, whether we are believers or not believers, when we have more we misbehave, we say it is the work of the devil. But when we want to mention spiritual, the role of evil spirit behind the attitude of people, they say we are religious fanatics. But almost everybody uses the statement, it's the work of the devil. Whether you are the Muslim or it's the work of the devil. Whether you are a non-believer or the work of the devil. Now, but when we want to say, okay, evil spirits influence the attitudes of people, we say, they are religious fanatics. They should be practical. They should be real. They should be very, very straight to the point. No, evil spirits influence people's attitude. And you also realize that some people are cheating because it's a transgenerational curse. It runs within their family bloodline. And you discover they are unable to even control themselves. Those persons don't just need counsel, they need prayer, because you don't cancel evil spirit, you cast out evil spirits. So these are some of the things we have to lay emphasis here, because a lot of persons have walked into my office crying, weeping and wailing and asking me what is happening with them. That like Paul cried in Romans chapter 8, the evil I hate to do, I see members of my body doing them. I've seen pastors' wife come to me for counseling, cry, and I took them through process of prayers and fasting, and some of them came out of it. So the issue is, we should not look at individuals in church and conclude that they are holy by virtue of being in church.
Now, Reverend Ken, what is you have counseled many persons. What would account for this growing tendency for women to want to taste what is outside the home?
The reasons are too many. So many, and as we said,
yeah, there are so many.
There are many, but should not constitute a justification. Yes. So one of the reasons, some people have forgotten to know that if a marriage is like a garden that needs to be tended. When you plant a garden and you allow weed to grow, it will overshadow the crops, and tomorrow the place will no longer be a garden, it's going to be a forest. Marriage is something, when two people get married, they are supposed to be so much into one another. They are supposed to keep the relationship in a way that the bond is fortified. They are supposed to be such that they keep the flame of love burning by virtue of how they attend to one another. When a marriage has gotten to a point where a lady feels lonely, abandoned, and you have a strong man who leaves work, goes and wrings out his intestines and come back at 1 a.m., for example, the woman will, maybe she will take it like an affliction for a while, but when it gets to a certain level, you know, she will start trying to look for a way to sort herself out, because there's an emotional vacuum that is being created in her because of an absentee husband. At times, it can only be that the lady does not have a possibility of expressing herself in the relationship. If she does not have a possibility to express herself, she will feel as if she's being dominated. She's being dominated up to a point where that domination, she will say, I am done with this, I'll no longer continue to take it. Everything has an elastic limit. Somebody sang and said, if you pursue somebody with a fight who doesn't know how to swim, when you pursue the person right to the river bank, the person is going to decide to accept the fight. There are some women who would have made very good women, faithful to their husbands, and, you know, embrace their marriage with more seriousness and commitment, or to the point where their husbands have pushed them and then made them to, you know, to be married, but be spinsters, because they have an absentee husband whose own job is to come, impregnate them, go, impregnate them, as they deliver, they go, and so on. So women, some women finally cheat on their husbands because they have an absentee husband, or they have a husband with whom they cannot connect emotionally. And women are emotional beings. Women like attention. Women like somebody that will talk to them. Women like somebody that will cuddle them. So women like somebody that is going to, you know, raise them to that point where they feel esteemed. But if a man is a strong African man who behaves like a fawn, you behave, in fact, because the real African men, they be like fawns. That in fact, there's no degree of romance they've introduced into their marriage. There is no degree of tenderness that they introduce in the marriage so that the woman feels that she is secured here. The tendency will be that the woman is going to start drifting away. And when she drifts away, woe betide you as the man if she drifts away and meets a man that will give her the attention you are not giving. We talk to her maybe 4 or 5 times a day, that you leave in the morning and only meet back with her in the evening to ask that, but what kind of food do people prepare like this? If she meets a man who will end up maybe making love to her far better than what you've done or you've been doing, you have lost that woman. Because when a woman will find that, she will be looking for in fact, a wicked woman will even look for a way to poison that man so that she can die, for him to live with her newfound love. There are lengths that these emotional things can take people which you will never believe. It has to do with the emotions. You know, when somebody is at a certain degree of emotional connection, it's like their brain, their mental chemistry has been shaken. They no longer reason very well. So this is a clarion call to everyone, to our viewers, that when two people are in a relationship, please, people should work on it. Work on that relationship. Make sure that you are into one another. Make sure that you give one another the attention that is needed. And then a related reason to this is the aspect of accountability. The lack of accountability in relationships is a very serious vice that many people are taking lightly. I used to say that anybody who hates accountability as a married person, you the man or the woman, there are skeletons in your cupboard. There are skeletons if you don't want to be accountable. You cannot be such that maybe after work you've gone somewhere and your wife is, but where are you? You woman, you control me. Recently my wife told me something. She said, you know, we're discussing. She said, I trust you. I said, I don't need that kind of trust. I don't need that kind of trust. I need help. I need that your eyes should be on letter rather. Who wants to be too strong? Strong for over what? There are stronger men in the Bible who fell. There are stronger men who thought they were strong, but by virtue of the emotional drift, or by virtue of how loose their lives were, they finally fell into what they would have fallen into if they were accountable to maybe their spouse or to something, or to maybe to a spiritual authority. Accountability is something that spouses must uphold to the latter.
Okay.
Make sure that your wherever you are, your spouse at least know that this is where I am. Do it. Make sure that when you are, you know, there is a particular challenge you're going through emotionally, or there is something. Make sure that you bring it to the table. Let you and your spouse discuss over it. Okay. If you want to be such that you are close to yourself, in fact your life revolves around you, there are things you're going to walk into which will not sort you out.
Reverend, so many of these women who are wanting to taste things out also not influenced by what they see in the media. You see in a film, you see the way Ramsey Noah will take care of the wife. This Filipino film, the guy will and you are living with your husband and he may never do this. And maybe those guys who are acting may actually not also be doing that to their real husbands. But you think, and maybe you see how flashy some of your friends, they move around in the quarter with their husband, you may have a feeling that what you see in the movies is also what is happening in the house. So this guy is boring, this guy does not bring me breakfast in bed, this guy does not kiss me, this guy does not open the door for me to come out of the taxi. Let me go and see a guy who would treat me better.
Okay, like I used to tell Christians that, for instance, if Paul opens the car door for his wife, it doesn't mean that they should open the car door for you. It may mean that that car door is faulty, and that is why he has to go around and open the car door.
And for the past 4 days, someone was trying to open my car, and it got bad.
Yes.
So anybody who is seated,
yes,
I now have to go
exactly
around until I'm going to fix it.
Yes.
Yes.
So it may mean that that car door is faulty. What is good for the goose is necessarily not good for the gander. But you must trace what will do for you and what is good for you. Because most of these so-called romantic tendencies can be fallacies if we are not very careful. For instance, we know that we are very busy. You can be a workaholic, I'm a workaholic, and we are in a relationship and precisely marriage. There may not be time for all of that, but at least once in a while you can go for those weekend getaways. Once in a while you can go for picnics. These things are not very expensive, but sometimes we feel that we are so busy that we can't do them. And I will also not advise women to have a spirit of competition. When you start looking like that, it means that you're already developing a tendency of competition, a negative competition at that. Once you are that kind of a woman, nothing will go for you because you identify yourself with others, not you. You must learn to be you, know who you are and what you like. It is not because it has been done to that person that it must be done for you. Other things can be done for you that is not done for that woman. For instance, another woman can, let me say for 5 years you've not seen a friend, or even 10 years, and you see her with like 5 children, you have just one, and you are like, where, God, why is it me? Just one, I'm looking for children. You may not know that all those 5 are adopted children, but the kind of love she has shown those children, you may not even know that they are not from her womb. So what matters is that you put an effort in your own relationship to grow. It's not about competition, because this competition will only bring you more stress. When you come back home, you sit and you see the things happening around your vicinity, you will think that life's vicissitudes are so difficult on you, whereas you are the one who don't want to stand on your own and be yourself. Sometimes if you are not yourself, people will define who you are on your behalf. So it is good not to compete, it is good not to compare, because when you even do that, another tendency, my dear panelists, is that you also have low self-esteem. And when you have low self-esteem, it will also push you into cheating. Hey, I have stretch marks all over. Yes, you've given birth. That is why you have those stretch marks. Those are beautiful recognitions of motherhood. Some will say that no, when I dress like this, my husband doesn't like me to look like this. He wants me to look sexy. But looking sexy too has its own ramifications, because in dressing like that, you don't bring respect to yourself and to your womanhood, because you want to look like others. The fact that you can put on those hot pants inside your bedroom, yes, but to put it outside or to wear these bikinis that are so exposing because you want to look like other women, your physiognomy, the way God has created you, may not be the same with others. Your physical appearance may not be the same with others. What is, like I said before, is good for the goose is not good or necessarily good for the gander. You must know who you are and how you carry yourself. Another example is that some people feel that because they are already married, they have arrived and there is no need to take care of their well-being, to take care of their physical appearance. They take completely the role of parents and then forget when they were in courtship. Now they just like, okay, it doesn't matter that they show all these things on TV. That's the other way around, Mr. Leo, because some people want to imitate these things and then others instead totally abandon themselves. I am now married. Let me perpetually be in my kaba. You are having this hair net on your head from morning to night. Maybe you've not taken a bath. You have rushed to school to pick the children. You are here, you are there. Your husband is coming home. You are still looking like really dirty. And you know, for men, it is the physical appearance. For women, it is the scent. That's what psychologists tell us, though. And so when your husband is coming home and you are all shabby, the house is rowdy, places are not so kempt, some men who are not strong enough will like go somewhere, they go and visit and they put them a hot meal, the place is looking clean and neat, forgetting that those single ladies have all the time and energy to take care of you, but probably your wife at home has the kids to cater for, has other things to run helter-skelter and do. And also, this issue of social media is wreaking a lot of havoc. You don't give your husband the attention. You are always on your phone. He is back, you don't welcome him, there is no food on the table, you send maybe the house help to go and put his food. I'm not justifying, I'm just saying that these things are not the best. You are on your phone, giggling, maybe you are on some date app and that opportunity comes up. Before you know it, you have slithered away like a snake, and I'm coming, I will be back in a short while. And like Reverend Ken said, you don't give an account. They call for you, you say, your phone will ring for 10 hours, you will not pick it. You don't badger yourself to even say that maybe it's an emergency. You are there because you are all excited with friends who are going out, who are looking sexy, you want to also look good too and follow the trend. But at what cost? Remember that as a mother, you are a role model. Your children are looking up to you. Other younger relatives, for that matter, are looking up to you. So you mustn't be moved by those things on the TV or on your phone, because all that glitters is not gold. So can really be blurred, and you may.
But isn't it also a trap, Apostle Ambe, for wanting to see a guy? Because one of the reasons they advance is by many women is the fact that they have fallen out of love with their current husband or fiance because they are unhappy with the relationship or with the current partner. They're looking for somebody who can easily turn them on. Isn't it also a trap to note that somebody who wants you, maybe because your husband is taking very good care of you, show us some love, please, the good guy for some time, but when you actually becomes his responsibility, everything changes?
Yeah, Mr. Leo, women cheating varies.
Okay.
Based on their personal yearnings. Because you may be surprised to discover that sometimes somebody is financially capable, yet the person cheats. You may think that what's causing a woman who is from a very rich home, she has everything that a man can offer her, yet she cheats. It varies. You will discover that there's a vacuum in her that is not financial. There can be another case where a woman is from a home where the husband cannot provide for her, and somebody from outside is providing for her. She begins to cheat because her yearning also is different. Probably that man is giving her money and the husband cannot provide money. This one, the husband provides money and probably the husband cannot satisfy her sexually. So I think women cheat for so many other reasons, which we have to analyze it based on individual's approach. For instance, some women may be sponsored by uneducated people, and they love you within the period where you are sponsoring them. Once they become educated and qualified, they don't see you fit anymore in their standard. And now it becomes a serious challenge. They now begin to yearn for somebody who has that same standard of education. You discover that her reason for cheating is different from the woman that lives in a wealthy home, has money, but she does not get proper sexual satisfaction. Another person lives in another home whose husband is financially broke, and then somebody is providing from outside. That's another problem. Then also evil communication, evil company. There are some women also who can also introduce their friends to sugar daddies and so forth. And the kind of company you keep can also influence if you're going to cheat or not. You cannot be a married woman and all the friends you are around you are single ladies. You can't be a married woman and the friends you are keeping are the ones who are cheating with their husbands, or cheating on their husband, you will discover that all these factors influence. Now, another important thing I want to emphasize here is that people come from different cultures. There are some cultural backgrounds you come from. This tendency of cheating is just natural. There are tribes. Even if you fast and pray and bind, wherever they are coming from, the women from that background is natural in them. So if you want to go into such relationship, you should be ready that such unforeseen circumstance can happen tomorrow in your relationship based on that tribal unit where the person is coming from. I don't want to go personal because if I start mentioning tribes here, it's like I'm attacking some people, but we are trying to educate people. Mr. Lou, why are you looking at me like there are tribes. There are tribes here.
Just keep those names.
No, I cannot even go there. I should be I should be mature enough to know. So those are some of the things that people sometimes step into without knowing. Then they will tell her, what's the tribe of your wife? Is my wife's if it is a natural phenomenon in that cultural background, cheating is just normal. Like there is a particular tribe in Namibia. The people have a funny culture. Once you visit them for the very first time, the man gives you his wife as a welcome address. That's a welcome way to welcome you. You sleep with the wife that night and get up in the morning. That's how they welcome you. Look at how barbaric a custom is. Cheating is no kind of subject. There are tribes in Cameroon that have legalized cheating. How do I put it? Unannounced. It is but normal in that kind of society. So these are the factors that we can say, okay, this individual is committing this crime because of this, but I can tell you with all sincerity, most women that cheat in our modern day society, it has to do with finances. Finances has been one of the major reasons why women cheat.
Okay.
Some men are irresponsible to the extent where common parts they can't buy for a woman to put on. She goes to the market, she works her money, she provides for herself, she takes care of her children, then she looks at the man. The man is just like a statue in the house. And then she begins to ask questions, what is the essence of this man here? That financial vacuum you create, somebody can step in, just show a little concern.
But the man is there for companionship now. Is that not also the essence of getting married?
No, Mr. Leo. It was Regina Daniel who said, love is important, money is important.
Okay, Juvita Brian Belvia says, good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm writing from Boya. Susungwa says, nothing, Mr. Liu, na just Logneko Langa. I'm writing from Kumba. Mofo Stanley Ngoma says, it is Ngeme, Mr. Kum. I'm writing from Awing. Apostle Ambe is raising the issue of poverty. How now, if you are leaving your husband because he's poor to go try something out there, what is the guarantee that you're not also going to leave A or B for C for D because you are looking for money?
And that's how the vicious cycle will continue now. Because you started it, it will just continue like that.
Mr. Lord, the issue is that all of these things, as we've said, they will just be reasons that may also even reveal the lack of values in some people.
Okay.
There's a friend whose house is not too far from one of these joints that prostitutes sell themselves. He said there was a case where a man comes and drops off his wife there. Yes, he comes and drops off his wife, that the wife should be at the job site. Takes the wife to the job site. For me, a woman who accepts to do that is first and foremost because what is prostitution?
Selling your body.
Yes, selling your body. So that's prostitution. That's not even, I don't know, that's not cheating, right? I think it's it's prostitution. Yes, you are a prostitute.
And if UN has told us that we should soften it and call them sex workers. It's instead too obvious.
Sex workers, you know, for me that word even does not even still mitigate it, because you're a sex worker. Look at your own job. Your friends are bayam salams, they are working in offices, or they are even doing nanny. They're working as nannies in people's houses. You are a sex worker. It means there is a real problem with you, a very serious one. So what I'm saying is this: the aspect of people, going out. I don't want to even be calling that one cheating. Going out with other men for economic reasons is another very, very serious aspect, because if you have gotten to that level, it means you will surely not be only with that man. You will surely go and follow another man again. You end up be here and there.
That's why I call it a vicious circle. It just goes around and goes around.
The woman will end up being what we call a cheerful giver, because
she doesn't give with grudges.
With grudges, and this is where we are. Men too, at least there are times they contribute, their own hand is also into it, because you cannot marry a woman. You come every time, you see they have cooked with bushmeat inside. You know the woman does not walk anywhere, and you are only swallowing, because some men too are not responsible. A woman cannot, you know that this woman does not walk anywhere, but each time you come, you see the quality of meal she has prepared. You are swallowing without asking any question. There is also a very serious problem with that kind of man. So for men also to participate in resolving issues related to having sex outside of the marriage for economic reasons, they should also stand up to their responsibility. 1, 2, they should get to a point where if it is that the financial management of their home is not joined, they should be able to question, where did the money come from that you have prepared such meals, or that you are preparing such meals, or that you have bought this or that in the house. And I think this is one of the areas that I know there are many approaches. Every home will have its own template of financial management. But there is a very serious need that if people are really married and there is no egoism at the center of that marriage, I don't even see why the joint financial management should not be the ideal. The challenge is that there's usually a selfish tendency somewhere that is defeating the purpose. But
not really be selfish.
Yes,
I've had bitter experiences.
But the bitter
others,
the bitter experiences are born out of selfishness. Because if I know that this is our common pool, and we are supposed to agree on that kind of thing, and if this is done, at the dimension of accountability, which we're talking about, will also help. So that I can easily question you why I'm seeing this in the house, of which I know your sources. I know the capacity, your capacity to be able to provide some of these things. Men should be able to stand up to their financial responsibilities, and then they man enough. Women are people that if you give them the security and comfort, they will be able to at least respond somehow. But when the women also discover that there is no security, most often you see that they are drifting. Now, the aspect of, I want to just throw just to add my voice to what Apostle said, the aspect of peer pressure. There are women who would have never been involved in the aspect of cheating if they were not in the company of particular kind of ladies. There are women who will tell you, for example, some men may be doing it for maybe by reason of unsatisfaction or dissatisfaction. They'll be discussing among themselves and talk about orgasm, and the woman will like, hey, what is orgasm? They will laugh at her, they will jeer at her, say, hey, so you don't know about this. When they end up not talking about it, she may want to go and try to see whether she can experiment and have it with her man. It doesn't work. They will advise her to try it elsewhere. And as they try it elsewhere and it works, that is how it becomes not only an experience that they wanted to have, it becomes a lifestyle. Another thing can be procreation. There are people who, by virtue of the fact that they got married and they are not delivering with that man, at times even by agreement, I've known of people who agreed. Yeah, they agree that the woman should go and sleep with a man outside and bring children inside. So some people, they will even do it and then come and just slot the thing out into the family. The man will take care of everything, knowing that he is the one who is responsible for the pregnancy, of which she knew that the man, maybe for one reason or the other, they went for medical checks and it showed that the man cannot deliver. Then the woman now carefully goes out, sleeps with another man, and then brings the pregnancy. The man is now sponsoring a pregnancy or is embracing a pregnancy that he is not responsible for. These things, as we said from the beginning, are a true representation of the nature of our society today. The wickedness that is being implanted in the heart of the 21st century human beings is something that you cannot even imagine. Many people are doing things that I'm sure at times Satan himself look at people like this and say, what? Because when you look at the kind of things where a man, innocently, you'll be bringing up a child, it's the woman alone who knows that this child, I want to harvested the child elsewhere. So the reasons for which women cheat, as we said, they are not a justification, but these are the things, and they are the realities we have in our society today. We see people, a woman will carefully leave her home and go and do it, come back, and at times there is a suspicion, because there are some men who are sensitive enough. When there's a suspicion, she refuses. Some men also are just there. The woman can even go and do, there is no trace. In fact, they don't suspect anything. There is no indication, there is no discernment, there is no sensitivity to whatever is happening. And that's how it begins to get implanted into the home as a lifestyle.
Papa Ken, some even justify, some say that when they are happy outside, the home too will be happy inside, because they are not satisfied inside, they go and gain satisfaction outside. Therefore, there will be happiness, there will be no quarrels, there will be no stress, which is also not the best.
Terrible.
Okay, now let's look at one of most of the surveys done actually revealed that many women who took part in the surveys named sex as one of the reasons why they are going out there. Maybe their husbands are weak, maybe their husbands are not giving them as much as they would have wanted. Is that an excuse or reality?
It is a reality, sadly.
Okay.
Most men, especially those who drink a lot of alcohol, I'm not a medical expert, but alcohol causes a lot of sexual weakness. And once you are weak, weakness is different from not having an erection. Once you are weak, it means you cannot sustain yourself in bed. It wreaks havoc on the mental and the physical life of a woman, and she will look for reasons to go out. Another sad situation is that most men take it for granted now that they are already married, they should not look for room to improve on their sexual life. What do I mean by this? The kind of foods we now eat, we don't do sports, nothing moves us. At the end of the day, our room is suffering, the marital bed is suffering. Another sad situation is that men, the fact that they are married, they work for very long hours. After all, they have the idea that they are sustaining the home financially. They go out for seminars, they go out for they work for long hours, go out and stay, and then come back very late, taking everything for granted. And when they don't give the woman the attention she needs, I'm not justifying this, these are just some deposits of truth that happens in the society. The woman tends to cheat because that time that she's waiting on you and you are not there, she might be tempted to pick up her phone. She opens one chat link, and before you know it, people are requesting for her hand, and she falls into that temptation because you are hardly ever there to perform your marital duties. Like I said, I'm not justifying. Another sad and dismal image is that most of these women, when they want to touch their husbands, they always say that they are tired. They are tired. I can understand. I'm here with pastors like myself. Imagine that you fasted for like 7 days, and not just the fasting, you were really fasting, praying, and it was so intense. And on the 8th day, you don't expect to have the strength to satisfy your wife. Apostle, am I lying?
Oh, yeah.
No. Yes. So those situations too, sometimes it should be mutual. Let your wife know that at this point I need to recuperate before we engage. But some people don't care. Fish, they just come back, they sleep and they snore. There is a period after love making which is called the afterglow period. Immediately after you make love, that's the time where you can talk about situations of planning your future, your fears and other things in the family, concerning the family. But you will discover that at that point, immediately a man ejaculates, he turns and starts to snore. The woman will be like, is it that I did not really satisfy my husband? Where did I go wrong? And at that point too, the woman may not be satisfied. And then instead of communicating at that time, because if you wait to do it later, you may be embittered and say some wrong words. But at that point, you can like, Daddy, this is not how you used to do. I know you are tired, but maybe I can take the reins from here. Maybe we can do this time. Maybe we can do like this to adjust. But the man will just slump. And when he sleeps like that, the woman will not be able to say those things at that moment. And when it is forgotten, when it accumulates, it is aggravated. It is good to talk during that afterglow period. It's very important to discuss whether it was good, whether it was fair. You can even rate it. It is between you. So that when you rate like that, you can know, you can give room for improvement. Another sad situation is that when most couples are already married, they take upon the parent role totally and completely, that they forget about the time when they were courting. They forget about the time when they just got married and the children were not there. They showed a lot of love to each other. They showed a lot of affection and mutual consent. But now with children, you are so distracted with the children. The children are all over you. You are tired from work, and there is no time for bonding. Bonding mustn't only come in bed, but the bonding must start during the day. You text each other, you talk to each other, you play, you know. But now we are so serious, we are worked up, we are tired, we have a lot to do, contracts in our head. We are barely struggling to have intercourse so that there may be a child or a pregnancy within the process, such that at the end of the day, there are a lot of discrepancies in the relationship. Like Reverend Ken said, it is a garden. We must tend it totally and completely. Once you abandon it, even the Bible says that the parable of the wheat and the tares, when the tares came in, the wheat would definitely, the plants and the crops will certainly die out. So we need to take care. And one reason why relationships don't blossom these days and there is cheating is that most women and most men do not put that effort, that ample effort in the relationship. I don't already marry, I know you just put on kaba, you just put on a filthy net, like I said before. The house is in shambles because you are married. Now you think you've arrived. You were looking neat, you were looking good before you got married to attract the man. Now that you've attracted him, you don't know that there's also maintenance policy. And if you don't maintain the attraction, there is bound to be disintegration. Another sad case, because I'm really standing for the fact that men also do not put a lot of effort, so it brings a lot of stress. And women have concentrated on the fact that it is sex. We should know that it is a whole circle. It's not only about sex. The entire emotion of a woman, like Papa said, you need to pamper a woman. You need to show her that you love her, you care for her. You need to attend to her every need. I know it is almost not so possible sometimes, but when you show a woman this total attraction, sometimes she can close her eyes to other situations. Maybe a woman, and first of all, Papas, you will have to know that most women have orgasm when they are having foreplay. It is not even during the act of sex. So when some even talk about that sexual issue, for me it is not really also the best, because most of them is during foreplay. But the question is, how many men take the time to have a long succulent foreplay with their wives before penetration? Foreplay helps to lubricate the entrance of the woman, and so if you don't have foreplay with them very well, you may just pass there just like fowls will just crash its order and disappear. It will not be the best. A woman needs a long foreplay, and a higher percentage of women, about 80% of those women, Mr. Leo, have orgasm during foreplay than during sex. Others too have had this mentality that if a man doesn't have an honorable manhood, which is really big, he cannot perform his task. It is also a blatant lie from the pit of hell. It is not about the football, it is about the player. Because I believe that God has given everybody to a particular capacity. You just need to enhance your skills in that field. Don't conclude that it is because of this or because of that. And these women too is because of peer pressure. They sit, and even some friends will lie or they will not say the truth. Mama said this thing big sute. If he touch me so, if he just collapse, he go like 5 rounds. Mean he's not even a manly man. He cannot go even 1/4 round. He collapses on you. But you come and blow it out of proportion in front of your friends so that they should know that you have a manly man. The woman who is even having a man that will manage with her will go back and attack the man. Matter I only do so wait till they pass you, forgetting to know that it is that competition is not called for. She may be saying that just to pacify her mind, you know. And then there are some women that we call nymphomaniacs. Nymphomaniacs, thank you. These women, no matter what you do, you can never even satisfy them. If they are in part of that your survey, Mr. Leo, then means that we are going in for some trouble, because you can never satisfy a nymphomaniac, no matter what you do. It is like they are possessed, if I can put it that way, because they have different partners and yet they are never satisfied. That's an underlying factor. Another factor that even also pushes women, and they will think that it's just about sex, when they are facing depression, and if they take these antidepressants, such as the antidepressants are medications to combat depression, and most of those medications have serotonin and other neurotransmitters. When you take such medications, they are like aphrodisiacs. They push you to be very sexually alert and excited, that once you have it, it's like you should just be looking for somebody to just have sexual intercourse with. This way, these two underlying factors too may push women to go and indulge in what they were not supposed to. So I really plead with the men that put a lot of effort, do a lot to tend your garden. Like I said, let women not come and provoke you that it's because you don't have a big penis. God has given us gifts, but we have to put them to task in order to bring joy to our families. Let us not allow our women to go out there and cheat and then come back smiling. Remember that women are deposits. We are deposits, and we can easily carry diseases and transmit sexually transmissible diseases and transmit to our partners. And so if you see a woman with something new, or you see a woman putting on some extravagant handbag and you know truly you can't afford it and her salary cannot afford it, there should be a question mark. If she's only repeating, is this my good friend that has given me? Where is that good friend taking? Is she also stealing? Does she have a tree of money behind her house that she's harvesting? This goes to for our young children, like our youths, young girls. You are in the house, your child comes with different things every day. Since we are talking about cheating all over, also question them. Don't just say that people are complaining because my child is beautiful, they are jealous of my child. We must question our children, especially our youngsters who are women. We should know where they are coming from, what they are doing. We should also be sure that we are accountable. They should not call your phone and you throw it away. Demand the bone for waiting. Because you think you are with friends, the euphoria is there, you are dancing and celebrating, and then you think that you are home. You will still go back and give an account because you will be going back home definitely. So our men, we need to take charge. That Africanness should come back.
But how can we note as a fiance or a husband notes that something is not right with our wife, she's doing something out there?
It has to do with the individual in question.
Okay.
Men descend differently based on the kind of woman you are married to. Her reactions and her attitudes in the home will definitely change. A woman cannot taste something good somewhere and she does not react different. It is certain.
Yes, women are very emotional.
Yes, they are very emotional. And one thing that is so bad about women is that men can sex without being in love. A woman cannot sex without being attached. So once she gets attached to somebody sexually, it will definitely prove with time. And I know women equally desire love making, but when a woman starts running away from it, you look at her attitude has changed within time. Something is wrong. A woman will quarrel you for not touching her. She will quarrel you for not satisfying her. She will quarrel you for not doing foreplay with her. As a matter of fact, they have that attitude of always giving analysis after every sexual intercourse. The men are carefree. They can sleep them off after making love. But the woman will want to tell you that you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. That's why sometimes a man will want to climb to penetrate, but the woman is even resisting because she wants that foreplay. That's where she reaches her orgasm. So when you live with a woman, you realize that that urge, the desire, the passion is no longer there. You're the one forcing her. There's a question mark somewhere else. There's a question mark about her attitude. Her attitude will definitely manifest. The second thing that you want to know with a woman is not desiring to make love with you. She tells you to climb and do it and get out. She is satisfying you for you. When she's not into the sex. There's a difference when you are making love with a woman and she's into it, and when she wants to just please you. When she wants to just please you, something is wrong somewhere. But when she's into it,
Is it out of duty?
yes, out of duty. Let me just climb, do what you are doing, let me walk away. That's exactly what it is. But it becomes difficult when she's into it and she just lie down and get out. Some will give you so many excuses. When a woman starts giving you excuses that the reason why she's doing this because she's not used to this kind of life, you have taught her one thing 10 times, 20 times, and she refuses to respond to it, something is wrong somewhere. There are men who will want you to touch them at particular spots on their body, and the woman does not even have that urge to trigger the man. She just wants the man to do the thing very fast and then get out. The next you realize that proximity is not there, even though you are staying in the same house. She distances herself from you. She keeps away. I mean, that connection is not there. People cannot really discuss. She sees you when she wants to serve you food, or probably she wants to ask you a question, or she wants to get money with you. That communication is not there. That intimacy is not there. She can't sit like this in the afternoon, think of you and send you a text. She talks to you when she sees you. She talks to you when you come back home, and she talks to you only on what is too necessary. She can't even come around, play pranks or laugh with you or joke with you. It's no longer there. When you see all those characteristics put in place, the distance is there. It's very certain. Then when she starts becoming very, very careful with her mobile phone.
Exactly.
Very, very careful. You want to enter WhatsApp, there's a code there. You want to enter Messenger, there is a code there. You want to enter TikTok, there is a code there. And then she holds the phone 24 hours in her hands.
Even to the toilet.
She takes it to the toilet inside. And then you realize that there are calls she does not pick in your presence. The call will ring, she will not pick it. It tells you something is wrong. These are some of the signs that if you are living with your woman, you start seeing these things both through your bonding and her attitude around the environment, you will definitely know that something is wrong somewhere. Another critical aspect is that a woman that has always been somebody that is in the house now frequents out. She goes out frequently. I went to this my friend here. Is this attitude just coming up now or what? I went to this my friend here. I went to this my friend here. And she could be chatting on phone like this, and immediately you are coming from behind. She shivers. There are some very, very secret informations in that phone she does not want you to see. So it becomes a serious problem. When you look at all this, you realize that something is wrong. I'm saying this based on practical experience when I counsel people. A lot of people have come to me and I'll ask the man, this. He say, yeah, this. I say, okay, go back home, calm down, pretend as if nothing is happening. You will realize that something is wrong somewhere when you see all these characteristics manifesting through your wife or through your fiancé. So these are some of the things that if you look at them critically, you will understand. The next is that she becomes too demanding. She's not satisfied. The money you gave yesterday was not correct. The money is finished. As I'm talking to you right now, I need this money. She becomes very, very hostile. Yes, when a woman is in love somewhere else, she becomes hostile towards you because she sees you like a threat. She sees you not in the eyes of love anymore. She sees you like an enemy trying to destroy where she's getting satisfaction. Some even go to the extent of poisoning the man to create space for this man that they are in love with to come into the house.
That's true.
That's how critical the society is. That's how bad the situation is. And we are living into those realities this particular time in our lives. These seasons we are living into, we see these things happen almost every single day. The next you realize about your wife is that when she starts getting instruction, she will not be dressing the way you want. She'll be dressing the way the person is telling her to dress. She's getting counsel from both angles. The man said, I didn't like the eyelash you put that day. She's changing that eyelash because of you. She's changing because of the person who is coming from. I said, now, she now dressed on how to suit the person she's in love with, not you who is in the house. Then what you want to say, it's modernity now. You want me to remain in a cage? You want to imprison me? I'm a young girl. No can time for inside bond for inside house. Leave me feel free. Because the man outside has told her, please when you want to come in Kolam. Wear bikinis and I mean be some kind of way that you are sexy. But you as a family man, you are looking your wife at that responsible level. Exactly. You are looking at the mother of your children to represent you respectfully in the society. But she is trying to please the free boy who is trying to make her dress like her. You understand what I'm talking about? These are the things that you understand that something is wrong. When your wife starts demonstrating characteristics you did not cancel her into, somebody is canceling her somewhere.
Exactly.
Someone is counseling her somewhere. I'll take this message for your reaction, Reverend Ken. Oops, so many messages have come in this night. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I thank Ma for what she is saying, and I ask what happens when a man touches a wife and the woman says she is tired also. I'm Chief, writing from Manfe. Please, I may ask, what about situation when your wife will leave you in the house to go and have sex with someone? Why denies to give you? Okay. Good evening to you people in the studio. I'm giving a special greetings to my Reverend Mrs. Anyere Florence. I'm so happy for her courage to talk about this topic the way she's doing. In fact, the studio is too mature. Kudos to all of you. Reverend Ekole Alexander PC Guneku Mbengwi. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo and co. How much money is money to stop a woman from pursuing money? A reason for cheating. If money was the real issue, then the wives of some money gurus that we know will not go cheating. Let me tell you, panelists, women will always go cheating even for no reason in the name of flexing and having space. Please, panelists, don't justify what's wrong, especially those of you in the studio. Statement is writing in Momenda. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Raymond, writing from Kumba. The truth is that women are never satisfied. Even if you give them everything they need, they will never be satisfied, okay? Good evening to you, Mr. Liu, to the men of God, and to the only woman in the program. It has been said that dissatisfaction is one of the main reasons why many people cheat. I would just like to say that dissatisfaction shows that you had ever been dissatisfied more than that before, which means you did not get married as a virgin. When you get married as a virgin, you will get satisfied no matter how weak your spouse is. So if you get married as a virgin, you already reduce the chance of cheating. Okay. Yeah, because how do you know that this man is... Okay, yeah. Greetings, Mr. Liu. This is Madame Lawon from Yaoundé. I was shocked when I told some ladies that I want to pack out of marriage. They laughed and told me women do not pack out again, but secretly look for joy outside to save the marriage. She's actually painting what we are living out there today. They are married, but their heart is not in the marriage. Yeah. Because this is a lady in Yaoundé saying that I told my friends that I'm packing out. They say no, we no longer pack out. We have devised a new strategy. Yeah.
I think this goes in line with what we said. Your association matters a lot, because when they give somebody such a counsel, she will think the people are giving in good faith, or and the risks and the dangers that come with that kind of lifestyle, they don't consider at that particular time. They don't at all. So all of these things, I tell you, the things are so sad. And I think one thing we must do as a society is that we have to go back to the drawing board and give marriage the place and the esteem it deserves, especially in the scheme of things as far as God is concerned. You see, there is something that I don't appreciate. For example, when you look at this, one of the reasons for cheating is long distance. Someone will get married, you leave America, come and marry a woman, leave the woman here and travel. I don't encourage such kind of things. Yes, I don't encourage that kind of situation. You leave, come and marry a woman, then you are in America. The woman is in Cameroon. Year 1 has come and passed. No way for her to join you over. Year 2 has come and passed. No way to come. And then you come, you look for some 1 week, take leave 1 week in about, or let's say even it's 1 month, in about 3 years or 4 years, and come around. That kind of marriage, in fact, the tendency in it is that you will burn across there and cheat. She will burn here and cheat. That's the tendency. Yes, so we should go back to the esteem that marriage has. That when people get married, they should try as much as possible to live together until a certain level where the people, there is a certain stability and maturity in the relationship. You know, when you go to a nursery, the way they protect plants is different from when they have planted, they have transplanted, they have taken the things to the garden. So that protection of a young marriage is supposed to also be a serious call for concern for everybody. You cannot be such that after you got him married, everybody is in his own side, everybody's in their own side. A lady was expressing her frustration that within 1 week of marriage, the husband was only keeping late nights. Within 1 week of marriage, that desire for to come back and be with his new bride was not there.
He just continued.
The man had been like that, so he just continued the syllabus.
He have seen it.
Exactly.
And
she thought that maybe she would, sorry to cut you, but she thought that maybe she would change the situation. That's always the ideology. I will change this man. But you don't change a mature, an adult.
There are red flags that when they show that it's better the relationship is kept on hold.
Exactly.
Yes. Some of these things today, for example, when you look at like Potiphar's wife, she was attracted to Joseph based on, the Bible says he was handsome, right? Yeah, it was based on his. So you have decided to get married to the man with the bulging stomach and with the legs the way they are, and tomorrow you are admiring young boys, and you are admiring your driver, your husband's driver or something. What is the matter? So those kind of things, in fact, there are things that when you don't address them at the foundation of the marriage, you will live with them. You only will live with them because there are women who are ashamed of introducing their husbands.
Exactly.
I think we had a case here, a message that the man is always trying to talk and he doesn't know how to talk. He's always trying to make speeches. I think a viewer said
severally that I want him not to make speeches.
Yes, he should not make speeches, but the woman is only insisting to make speeches. And those are things that maybe you saw before marriage, and then you say maybe when I'll get married to him, I will do this, I'll do that. Before
money.
Yes, or it's money.
Money answers all things.
Money answers.
Answer living by fire.
Money answer all.
So at the end of the day, you should bear with the thing. You should bear with the aspect of, you know, the things you ignore. What you ignore at the premarital level,
okay.
You should be prepared to bear with it.
Okay. Munjo Esther says, good evening to you guys watching from Bamenda. My phone, Gwen, I love the program. So much more grace, Mr. Kum, thank you. Feast Unique says they never loved the man they got married to. Nothing else. They are using the men they are married to as umbrella to hide and prevent rain from beating them. It's amazing. The lady claims when a woman who finds happiness through cheating, she brings such happiness back into her home. That's craziness, Mr. Kum. I'm strong advocate for DNA testing of newborn babies, so the biological parents' names are those that appear on the child's birth declaration and certificates, everything being equal. A huge number of men are ignorantly raising another man's child under their roof, only to be insulted and humiliated by their cheating wives when the child has been raised. The world is being turned upside down by women, and if DNA testing at birth isn't made compulsory, trust me, hell will practically be here on earth. Okay? This one's Anyere Akwi says lack of company and then decide to seek for company. Writing from Yaoundé. Elvis says women don't cheat for something. Just a piece of meat from a butcher in the market can make them cheat. If you still think they cheat for something, then you are living in the past. Angala Paul says, Mr. Liu, I thank you guys there for the great work you people are doing. Tell Professor Ambe to tell us those tripits so that we should, I don't know, tripit, why is tripit?
Tribes.
Okay, tribes. Okay, so that we should not go out for beauty and fall in trouble. Okay, Ngala Paul is writing from Picard and set in Douala, yeah, okay. Bruno Nice says, dining from Tilu, okay. Berinu Eve says, good evening, Mr. Liu and my able counselors in the house. Poverty, comparison, and bad influence from peer groups, bad friends, bad advice, okay. Berinu Eve is writing from Yaoundé. Nkwadori says, good evening, Mr. Liu, writing from Yaoundé. Phoebe Julius says, it's because where the husband are doing for them and they don't see it be okay for them, because when you give your wife something and she can't even say thanks, Julius, okay, according to him, they don't appreciate the little the husband does, okay. Pel says, Natuma, writing from Dakar, Senegal, okay. Okay, sex, that's what you mean. Full Divine Chair says, let the married woman come and answer from Yaoundé. Okay, we are talking about how to diagnose a cheating woman. How can you are the woman. And revelations, I've just learned something new, that women no longer pack out of their homes.
They need joysticks.
Yes, they have just devised a new means. Yes. How can a man know that this woman I'm living with is just with me as a friend? The real heart is out there.
Well, Mr. Liu,
Apostle.
all right.
Yeah. How can you know that your wife, something is not right with your wife?
Like, before I get there are some women who even just cheat for the thrill of it. And even a relationship expert have called this ones serial cheaters, because they cheat for the sake of it. And when a woman is this way, the man definitely will know. The first thing is that you're already with your wife in the house and you already know her behavioral pattern. You know her movements. You know that if she's a teacher, on Monday she has 2 periods, Tuesday 3, Wednesday she closes at this time. It's not about following up the woman. You already know her movement. And so because you know her routine, if she goes out of that routine without explaining to you, giving you a genuine reason for going out of that routine, know that something is wrong somewhere. And as a couple, you must be transparent. Tell your husband that, Papa, we have a wake service at this time. We have this at this time. I will be going to this place. And make sure that he knows in a week time. And remind him a day prior to when you are going. That way there is transparency in the home. But if a woman just sneaks out and then when she's coming back, the husband is like, where are you coming from? She will just hip and she walks in so disrespectfully without telling you where she's coming from. Then you know that something is wrong somewhere. She does this 1 time, 2 times, and the 3rd time when you gather the momentum to shout at her, you discover that time she may just come with a stupid excuse. I'll be there with some friend. Which friends? You need to know the company your wife keeps. It's not like you are controlling her. Likewise, she needs to know your own company. Corinthians says that bad company corrupts good character. So you must know. If you don't know, today she calls A, tomorrow she calls B, after tomorrow she calls C, know that something is wrong somewhere. Who are your friends? Show me your friends and I will tell you who you are. A basic adage. Another thing is that out of what Papa said, those friends that would even advise you to cheat, they will be the same people to come and report you to your husband. That is how your husband will get to know. And then when you are with friends that are always talking about how good their husbands are in bed, and then you come back home and you start to bicker and you ask for some kind of demands that you know that your husband cannot meet up to. We know that as men grow older, there are some physiological changes in them. And when you had not seen that before and you start to recently see them, it means that your eyes are looking outside. Is it today that I know that I got married to a man who has pot belly? Why can I not manage him now when I've been managing him before? Hey, your shoe this man. Why you keep socks for day? How you overscatter? So is it today you know that your husband is scattered? You see, those kind of flimsy excuses now is a pointer that you are certainly looking outside. And another way you can know is that even her comportment around you, she becomes nervous for no reason. Before you can even say a word, she shivers, she shakes. And of course, the phone idea that the apostle talked about, that you see, she's going everywhere with her phone, under her armpit, inside her pocket. When she's chatting, she does not want you to look at her chats. If you want to even pick up her phone to give her, she snatches it out of your hands very fast because she's afraid that you may read a message. And if a woman always reads message and deletes them, know that something is very, very wrong. I insist on this because what has wreaked a lot of havoc and damage in relationships and marriages is these gadgets that have come today. All the rendezvous in this world, meet me at this place. And then they will not even put the name. They will put it up, Pa Fish, Pa Njanga. They will put a name that is like a market name or some kind of genuine name. But they themselves know who that number belongs to. And then you see, anytime they type, they are on their phone, you are talking to her. Instead of communicating with you, frank and open communication, she just gives a monosyllable. I don't hear, yes, no. Those monosyllabic tendencies now should tell you that something is wrong. I used to have a wife who was a chatterbox, talking until I'm tired. It's like my ears will get roasted because of her chat, telling you about her day. She's so excited, but at this point in time, you are talking to her, she's on the phone. From time to time, she will just giggle, kya, 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 kya. She's on the phone, she's on the phone, she's on the phone. You are talking to her, she will just, yes, pardon, yeah, chop there for table, children, go and do this. The thing she used to do, the attention she used to give you is no longer there. Something is wrong. Even her groups on WhatsApp, you should be careful with the kind of group, the kind of friends. She used to come home at 8 latest, but this time she comes at 1. She doesn't even apologize. Sometimes she comes in, she is drunk, and then she becomes frigid with you, but she's not frigid and rigid with someone out there. She will tell you she's tired. She will tell you that, hey, you're always doing this particular style. She's tired of this, she's tired of that. Instead of, okay, if you don't want this, if you complain about something, give the solution. But instead, she will not give. She will overly just complain and go around. At the end of the day, you will not even understand what is happening with your wife. Know that that wife is a perpetual cheat. If she's also not just keeping late nights, she she comes back and you get some, her perfume has changed. Everything, even the scent of her perfume. Did I say something wrong?
No.
The scent of her perfume.
You are giving us the,
you know, when they go out there.
Yeah.
Yes. Can I continue?
Yes.
They go out there sometimes, you know, when they bathe, the soap in the hotel is different from the bathing gel in the house. The scent is completely different. And when the man...
Yes.
See this, I'm learning this one. Yes.
And when the man has a strong perfume, you will get it from her dresses. This is not my perfume. Sometimes she reeks of alcohol and cigarette. It's not coming from her. She's not smoking. Where has she been to? All of these minute details. You should know the woman you are married to and know those minute details. I know that we cannot know somebody 100%. Only God knows us. But at least when you've lived with somebody for some time, you should be able to know the behavioral patterns, like I said before, of that person and the routine. And if this routine start getting out of proportion, then it is questionable. You need to ask some questions, and you need to have a critical eye on that person. I'm not saying that our women are children that we should over control, but then if you start noticing these minute changes and if they escalate, know that something is definitely wrong somewhere, and you need to step up your game and check her. And sometimes some men go as far as tracking their women's phones. I would not say it is a very good tendency, because you can have high blood pressure at some point. But at the same time, it is good when you've noticed that her behavior is not the same. It's not the same woman you used to know. You could track it just for proof, because as you want to say that, honey, is there another person? She will just flare up, and she may even grow mad. You know, when somebody is guilty, the person flares for no reason. The person may even blow it out of proportion and say that this is how you are, you're like this, there's no trust, you are looking at me like this because of this, whereas it is true and she's just covering it. And so sometimes if you really notice it, you can go the extra mile to track her phone. Don't go into over details, just pick the essentials and save it to her on a platter of proof, and then she will not notice that truly you meant business. And if it's truly somebody who desires to change, she will not just only apologize, she will actually act and change. But then at the same time too, another problem with what I've just given, you discover that once you've discovered this, and even when a woman apologizes, the man becomes paranoid. It's like she will always go and do that. You are always set towards an edge. So it's also not good. When we give this, we give the advantages and disadvantages. It's for the individual to accept what is better for you. So if you take note that your wife is changing a lot, your wife is not the wife you used to know. Her dressing has changed, her speech has changed. She's now overly excited about things that she wasn't before. You should know that something is wrong. She used to put on just modest things, but now her wig, she wanted to touch her buttocks. She wants to put on spaghetti hand.
What about anklets and
nose rings, eyelashes, those extra exceptional things that according to her will beautify her out of the natural. You should notice that something is wrong. Whereas it is different when a woman decides to look good. But when it's not her regular pattern of looking good, she goes an extra mile. The lashes now is like 3 inches. You should know that
she's placing somebody somewhere.
Yes, something is wrong out there.
Thank you, Mr. Lewan. The rich panel. Indeed, a woman that cheats will always cheat. After weeks or months of your partner having an affair, you'll notice that things don't make sense. An extramarital relationship involves lying. Maintaining these lies requires consistency between each fabricated story. Zuma is writing from the United Kingdom. Good evening to you, Zuma. Glennis from Bamenda says, good evening, Mr. Liu and panelist Mama Akwi. Kudos to you. Your analysis is like experience is the best teacher. You are wonderful. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Just want to ask, if a man hides his phone, does it mean he is cheating too? Probably, yeah. Why are you hiding your phone from your wife? Mr. Leo, good evening. Eugene in Yaoundé, the simple truth is our fathers who enjoy marriage because of no phones, okay? Good evening, Mr. Liu. Many women cheat due to negligence from their husbands. Many husbands push their women out there by neglecting those little things that matter to them. But when they are given a taste of their own medicine, they start crying like babies. Enjoying the program from Bamenda Delphine. If you have a good woman and she suddenly starts changing, ask yourself a question first before start judging her, okay? Good evening, Mr. Leo. There is a single mother of 2. Her kids are from a married man. Have you ever seen where a wife treats a man so badly that her parents advise the man to do as he pleases? The result of that hurtful wife are those 2 kids. Some women are horrible. So this woman or homebreaker who has helped this man to live till dates, can that baby mama be blamed? Thierry is writing from Ekona. That's also some of the reasons that are pushing men out there, like we are saying this evening. Good evening to you all in the platform. Thank you all for this topic, because it reminds me with my neighbor who will tell me she can support one man because the man can't satisfy her. Blandine in Yaoundé. Thank you very much for this program and with wonderful topics. Mom, you deserve a drink with your wonderful ideas, and it's very teaching. Okay, Blandine Fongu is writing from Yaoundé. Apostle Ambe, some people say it's because the men are irresponsible. They don't take care of their wives and pushing the women out there. I'll take good evening, Mr. Kum, and to the clergymen and women so blessed with the program. How I wish married men and women are not watching African Magic, but listening to this educative and revealing program. I plead to the clergy that this type of messages and counseling should be done in churches, because most of infidelity cases feature them. Good evening, my elders. The situation, Mr. Liu. There is a saying that only the mother knows the true father of the child. Just this statement tells us many things. God bless and protect us, the men. Mr. Nkwan is writing from Pamenda. Mr. Liu, what you people are saying is what I'm going through now in my house. My husband, if I want to go close to him, he will say I'm disturbing him. Even if I want to kiss him, he will say, no, Mr. Liu, for 2 years now, my husband has not kissed me. Wow. One of the reasons that are pushing, she wants a kiss, so she'll go look for it. Hello, Mr. Liu, and the rest of the crew on set. I'm Roy from Lower Munya. A lot of individuals are sensitive to personal hygiene nowadays. Women are attracted to men that smells good. With outstanding personal hygiene, couples should prioritize personal hygiene over spiritual and financial stability, because most infidelity or delayed pregnancy is as a result of lack of personal hygiene. Okay, you meant infertility. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Many women go out because our men are not performing their duties. Do you know that some men will leave the house without giving their wives food money, but will make sure they drink at least 3 bottles of beer a day? Joseph is writing from Amanda. Yes, some men also are responsible for why women go out there.
Mr. Leo, if somebody is responsible for your children, they don't have a willpower.
Okay.
If somebody makes you commit suicide, that means you don't have a willpower. And for your information, all those of you who are watching this program today, when you cheat, you don't betray your partner, you betray yourself. This information should sink deep into your psyche. When you cheat, you don't betray your partner, you betray yourself. Number one, when you cheat, if there is any transmissible sexual disease, you're the one that will contact it. You just betrayed yourself, not your partner. Once you cheat as an adulterer, your days are reduced on earth. It is you that you betrayed. It's you just betrayed, did not betray your partner. So sometimes when we cheat and think that we are hurting people as we are hurting ourselves the most. Now, talking about irresponsible people who push their wives to sin or to cheat. When you see somebody has money and becomes proud, the money did not make the person proud. The person was proud, money just brought it out.
Exactly.
And if you say a woman cheat, that thing is in her. Because I think a woman that fears God and has a relationship with God will look at the consequences from the angle of God, not her husband. Because if somebody is pushing you, then the husband should also push to go and drink poison and die. And that's the reason why some people's lives are dependent on others. A man's action causes you to commit suicide. Then you don't know who you are. A man's action causes you to go and cheat. Then you don't know who you are. A woman's action pushes you to go and do this. You don't know who you are. People are irresponsible. You be responsible. I cannot dive into your irresponsibility because you are irresponsible. You are not strong enough to make me become a murderer because you are a murderer. I can't steal because you are a thief. So I think you should first of all have governing and guiding principles in your life. I told my wife once, I said, I am not cheating because I'm afraid of you. No. If you see me, I don't cheat not because not because I'm afraid of you. I was afraid of somebody before you ever came. The attitude of not cheating did not come when you came. You are not my monitor. As a matter of fact, the person who monitors me can see me even the darkest hours of the night, which you cannot do. If I want to cheat on you, it will be easier for me, but I can't cheat on God. There was a life I was living before you came. So I think you don't have a governing principle in your life before someone's attitude can influence you against your principles. Before a woman walks into your life, you should set up the record straight. Who am I? What am I supposed to live like? How is my life going to be in the society? You drive this principle. If she comes, she's been introduced into it. It's just like somebody says that he was called as a pastor. Then when he got married, the wife says he should not be a pastor again. He stops being a pastor. No, you should be who you are. A woman is only coming there to compliment. So a woman's attitude should not influence your principles or change who you are. If you are working in integrity, walk in integrity. Her attitude should not influence you are going to work in integrity or out of integrity. So if they say men are irresponsible and it causes a woman to go and sin, I don't see any reason with that. If a man is irresponsible, you be responsible. The only way you can teach people is discipling them. Discipling them does not mean that teaching them notes. Discipling them means you discipline yourself for them to follow you. Discipline. That's a real definition of discipline. Discipline is not guarding people, putting them in a class and teaching them principle 1, principle 2, 3. No. Discipline means you discipline yourself and people copy after you. That's discipline. You become a model. You become a pathfinder and a trailblazer in the path you want to carry people along. So if a woman says that her husband's irresponsibility pushed her to go and commit adultery, it means she had no life of her own before the man ever came. She had no guiding principles in her life before the guy ever came. That's the reason why you can approach a lady and you ask her that, you ask her hand in marriage and you want to marry her and you tell her that I want us to make love. She said, no. I have a principle that governs my life. I won't sleep with you because I told God that the only person that will have access to my neck is the person that will marry me. That means the girl had a guiding principle. Now tomorrow, if that man happens to start cheating, that girl already has a principle that she will not betray God, because sleeping with a man before marriage is sin. Sleeping with a man while married is equally sin. So that principle is something you build within you. I told my wife that if I met her, I gave my heart to God. So when I met her, I gave her my liver. Oh yes, my wife had my liver. The reason why men break your heart because before you met the man, you are not giving your heart to God. Because when I came to God, the first thing God asked was my heart. My son, give me thine heart. I gave my heart to God. My wife came because I love you. I gave you my liver. Keep the liver. That's the truth. So my heart cannot go out of God. My heart can't go out of God because my heart can't go out of God because I gave it before she came. so yeah, this is it. My heart went to God. Now look at what happened to Solomon. The Bible says Solomon loved the Lord in 1 Kings chapter 3. By 1 Kings 11, Solomon's heart went after strange women. It means he didn't actually give his heart to God. Because if you give your heart to God, you won't give it to somebody else. A girl came to me and said, oh, daddy, he break my heart. I said, you have heart? Since you came to God, you have given your heart to God. So when a man comes, if you love him someone, you give him your kidney. If you love him someone, you give him your liver. So a man should not be the reason why you commit adultery. It's not an excuse. Because you didn't have a life of your own and you do not have guiding principles that influence your life. Okay. It's like I'm taking care of orphans, then I get married tomorrow, which is part of my principles in my life. My wife tells me to stop giving money to orphans. I can't stop it because why? You came and met that one as one of my mantras. Principles that govern my life, that guide my life. So why will you allow a man's irresponsibility to make you to go and cheat? It means you do not have any guiding principles that is a man's attitude influencing your attitude.
No spiritual stamina.
Yeah, you had no stamina. You had no protocols.
Now, Reverend Ken, the most difficult one here is, what would you do if your wife were to be caught in the act of cheating?
Mr. Leo, I think most of these things are better.
Let me come. Please, I want to answer somebody who said that we are trying to encourage or trying to teach people or promote people to go, women to go and give reasons. We said here that we are going to be giving reasons, but none of the reasons are justifiable for a woman to go and sin. So I see some of you are writing and accusing us for trying to agree. Don't misinterpret what we are saying here. What we are saying, that reasons can cause people to sin, but none of the reasons are justifiable.
Exactly.
Please.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Lee, I was saying that most of these things are
mistakes.
They are more easily experienced. They are more easily experienced than said. Am I right? Is that how I'm supposed to put it? You can. It is very easy now to say I will forgive or I will do this, but it is when you are in it. You know, there are people whom when somebody is bereaved, they come say, no, just take heart. When their own person dies, that's when you see whether they actually meant when they were giving somebody a counsel. I want to say that most of these things, in fact, I must say for myself, I can only know what to do if I'm inside. But for now, the provision I've made for myself is that there is a possibility. There is a possibility that it can happen. And for me, I can forgive, but the real thing that I will do can only be when it has happened.
Exactly.
The truth is that most of the times, at times, the surrounding circumstances.
Yeah, but you counsel people who find themselves in that situation. Are you saying that you will tell them that until it will happen to you before you know what to tell them?
Get me right. Most often there are people that when it has happened, you are telling the person that in fact, look at how to forgive, but you yourself look at the surrounding circumstances. Because one, look at this a case where it is repetitive. If it becomes something that the person cheated, they forgive him or forgave her. She cheated again. So somebody will spend her time or his time babysitting a woman who has refused to stop cheating. So there are times which at a certain point in time you want to evaluate a case in point, and most often that's why we used to say that there are most of the things we say here on air are generalities. The best things that we can approach and have a good way out is when they are therapeutic. When you meet a couple, discuss with the couple and have to both weigh the facts. Some of the people are writing messages say they have not told their own mess. They have not said their own things they did before the things happened. So it will often be a case in point. Take for granted your wife has cheated on you, and then by virtue of a good conscience, you even identify how much you faltered to pushing her to do it. It will be a mitigating circumstance. Take for instance that my wife has cheated on me because I deprived her of her conjugal obligations. If I did, her conjugal rights to say, if I did not, it will be another thing. If, for instance, she did it because maybe she was under a certain kind of pressure or something, it is a mitigating circumstance. Different from a case where somebody carries her two legs, goes and do it, comes back, goes and do it, and comes back, goes and do it, and comes back until she is caught, and then she's not saying that, I'm sorry, this has happened, this is the 15th time. It is different from when the person has done it. Because one of the things we're even saying here is, some people, some women enter into this thing or they fall into this trap based on the fact that maybe they have a boss who is threatening them that, in fact, if you don't give in, I'm going to sack you. And then the lady looks at the economic situation of the house. We are still saying that it's not justifiable. The lady is looking at the economic situation of her family and is bothered about it. She finally decides to give in. There are, to an extent, though it's not justifiable, but there are some of those things that you see that this one is more evil than this one, though they are all classified under the banner of cheating. You see that the reason for which this person did it, that, okay, the husband is sexually, apt and is doing it well. The husband is providing the money that she needs. The husband is giving the necessary attention and all the other factors that we've been naming here put together, and she still decides with impunity to go and cheat. That kind of person. How do you unite your small intestines with your large intestines, your kidney and liver as a person, and unite all of these things together to be able to forgive that kind of person? Yes. So these things it is difficult to really try to address it in a form of one size fits all. For example, when you look at this issue of sexual dissatisfaction we're talking about, there are some couples that for them having sexual intercourse maybe twice a month or once a month is okay for them. Nobody is complaining. So you as a friend to the lady, they will be discussing in their circle, and so they say, hey, I am a husband. At least 15 to 20 times every month. You say, what? 2 times for us, and this is talking about, and then something begins to change, and one thing leads to the other, and one thing leads to the other. So, and that is why this aspect of peculiarity in relationships is a very serious thing. I think we've said this thing time and again, that relationship issues are difficult to have a hard and fast approach to them.
Exactly.
If you want to be scientific about relationships, it will be very difficult. In fact, you will fail. There are things that we can only say them in generalities like this, and give people the advice or the counsel to be able to see that they work tooth and nail to hedge their relationships. But there are some things that when it will happen, you look at the person and say, even me, if I was in this person's situation, maybe I would have done worse. So that is it.
Okay, now, Reverend, how do we help cheating wives and fiancés to stop and get back on track?
Okay, the first thing we should do is that we must identify why it happened the way it did.
Okay.
Sometimes when we identify, we'll be able to find a solution. The Reverend Ken said it may be an underlying situation. It may be a situation of lack of satisfaction. When you know exactly what has happened, then you'll be able to trace a solution. I would also advise that if it gets to the worst, seek for professional help. Sometimes we cannot do it on our own, but there are experts that can help us to make sure that we get through it. Also, address the problem by having a frank talk. Communicate. Where is this man failing? Where is this woman failing? How can we do to solve this problem? Sometimes even a compromise can come into play. Okay, like Reverend Ken said, some people make love maybe twice a month or once, and some do it almost every day. People's libidos are not the same, and with that, if you start to listen from advices from outside, it may wreak havoc into your home and the routine. So it's good to address the problem by communicating. Also, be open to each other, because sometimes we do these things, we feel guilty, especially the one that we did not really mean it, like maybe a boss coerced you to do something so that, or else he will dismiss you from, or sack you from your job. When something happens that finally you could not place your finger on it, it's good to be open. It is not easy, but it is not impossible. Look for a way, pray over the matter and talk with your spouse. There will be a solution. Also, you must change yourself in order to change the situation. How do you change yourself in order to change the situation? You must avoid those behavior patterns that cause you to cheat. For example, I have this particular number in my phone. Maybe it's quoted Panjanga. You delete it and block it. Because if you don't delete it, if you don't block it, he or she...
Panjanga will keep writing.
Yes, and he will continue to pester you. Even when you've made up your mind that you no longer want to cheat. But if that number is still there, it means that you are still prone to. And if you are prone to, certainly you will still fall a second and even a third and even a fourth time. So you delete the number and you block it, because if you don't do that, they will still convince you into falling prey. Of course, like the apostle said, you must have willpower. You are a role model, you are a mother, you are a spouse. You must have willpower, because if you don't have willpower to stop, you will continue to act the same way. Also, you must learn to step out from the parent role, like I said before. What is the parent role? I am married, I now have children. I concentrate overly on those children and forget my spouse. The attention I used to show him is no longer there. It is now about my children. It's now about being a mother. At the end of the day, you are pushing that man. You are pushing that man, or you are pushing that woman, since we are talking about women. Sometimes we think that only women nag. There are some men who are extremely nagging. They nag to stupor. Their foot is not hot enough. Their foot is not cold enough. Why is this thing placed here and why is it not here? At the end of the day, he pushes you to the wall of frustration. Men too, on their part, need to change. They need to know that they are not married to pillars. Like Papa joked that no be sitting, no be carpenter crane. Certainly, the woman you are married to no be carpenter, cranny, and you no be sitik. Step up your game and face your marital duties. Fulfill your conjugal rights as a husband. Not that any time, it's not even the woman who is supposed to touch you most often that I want this. It is you, the man, because men are more prone to sexual intercourse than women. They are the ones who make the demands, but it comes to a point where a woman who even dress sexily, wear a nice lingerie, looking good, has one perfume, but then you are too tired, you don't want to look at her. And when you do like that, at the end of the day, she will be like, I'm not loved enough. And then also, it leads to another point. Stop shaming your wife. Stop insulting and comparing her with other women. Mami ananua for pine at you, you know, if pound at you, you're on for the house now waiting. At the end of the day, you married her for whom she is. If she can't do something, teach her. If she has blown out of proportion in terms of weight, it is because of your children. Or maybe because of one, these pills that women take to avoid bed pills. It also makes women to become, yes, very plump. And you will say that, maybe sir, be married, you will be there. Yeah, you need to do so. Say I friend them. You don't compare, you don't shame the woman. Look at her mom and you will know that definitely someday she will be like her mom. And even more. Because women, their physiologies are not the same. The stretch marks, the stress, the trauma of giving birth, of becoming pregnant, it changes her body. So if you really want to maintain that woman, if you know that she cannot go for sports, go to sports with her. Joke with her, do things together. And also, we should learn not to be paranoid. Paranoia kills marriages a lot. It is like, you are insecure. What are they for? Yes, so the woman did do now wait you. If there is no trust, there will be paranoia. And if there is paranoia, the marriage will disintegrate. Because, hey, how you don't shine again? So, who said the rapper come out? Who said, like, you are like, although we say that we should monitor our women, the way they dress and all of that, sometimes too we should, when they look good, tell them that they look good. Appreciate them. But instead, we become insecure. You want video of a shine, so they go looking for sunshine. If you are truly a man worth your sword, you should be proud of your woman every day, anytime. Instead, you should not feel that because she's looking the way she does, maybe she has somebody outside or she is cheating. Come clean with each other. Try to be transparent. You know, in the garden, when Adam, I always interpret this passage like this. Adam and Eve, when they were naked, I see that as transparency. They were naked in the sense that they could see each other, feel free with each other. It was only when the devil planted that evil idea that if you eat this fruit, you will become like God, you will do like this, that they now were aware of what was happening to them. If you are transparent with each other, there will be no way that the devil will plant a seed of distraction. So we should come clean with each other.
We are out of time. We have to end at this juncture. Okay. Thank you, Apostle Ambe, for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Liu. Thank you, panelists. Thank you, Cameroonians. It was a wonderful time. God bless you for your contributions. I know that we did not come here to encourage women cheating. We came here to give you reasons and to tell you that none of the reasons are justifiable for women to cheat.
Thank you to Reverend Ken for coming.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leo. I want to appreciate our viewers, those who give feedback. We are glad each time the Lord will grant us grace. We will come to share it we can with our viewers. Thank you so very much. And may God bless my media prime.
Reverend, thank you too for coming.
We thank God, Mr. Liu, and our fellow panelists. And I want to tell the women that nobody can condescend or look low on you without your permission. Be the mother that you are and be the spouse that you are. God will definitely bless you abundantly. Thank you so much, my media prime, and God bless you all. We are grateful. We appreciate.
Thank you, Desmond and Eli, for production. Thank you all for watching also. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.